Nam lovelies, how are you? It is a rainy day in Sonoma. Well, actually, I'm in Sebastopol. I'm in Sonoma County. And I just realized that I had to come out to get avocados. And this is the first time I've been out. I ended up going to two different places because, unfortunately, Furcrest doesn't have the pound salads. So I had to go to Safeway for that organic, but Furcrest avocados are 99 cents and Safeways are $1.99. Wow. So anyway, not so much, I don't think it's so much in Furcrest because it was in and out. The avocados were outside. I bagged up 9, went in, paid for them. But in Safeway, I needed to go, hey, is that now, Jillian? In Safeway, I had to go across the store. And you know, I thought, if Richard Attenborough was studying the human race, you just go to a fucking supermarket, even better like a Costco or even a Walmart. But this is where we can see what's going on in our society, right? So I just spent 5 days water fasting. And during that time, a woman called Naomi Whittle, along with Montel Williams, the Montel Williams, put on a summit about the real skinny on fat and weight loss. And every day for 9 days, they interviewed people for 2.5 hours. And I learned, you know, it's basically all we read, and, you know, other people think we're kind of boring because we're all about kind of the body-mind-food connection, and we have been for 16 years. But, you know, we got to look after our bodies. My dad was diagnosed with diabetes at 50, my age. And then he died at 70, you know, and I have more genetically similar to my dad than I am my mum. My mum's very similar to Samaj. She doesn't have a food addiction. I have a food addiction, right? Last week, I sat, not just last week, but before this cleanse, I sat and ate bags of chocolate gummy bears like they were going out of fashion, trying to fill a chasm. I'm watching the road, so don't worry if I'm not looking at you. Trying to fill a chasm that couldn't be filled with gummy bears, right? And it made me think about one of the, I don't remember which doctor it was or which panel expert, but he said, you get a craving, you satisfy the craving, but you don't satisfy the hunger. How many freaking times have you had that, huh? Where, I mean, I know I've had that, you know, you think you're craving something, and generally the body's craving fat. And we're going to give it to it in, you know, my old way, croissant. I don't eat croissants now. I mean, very rarely, because I just know. I just start down there. But I eat gummy bears. It doesn't matter what it is you eat. I mean, I've got so many people who tell me, oh, no, I don't never eat anything like that. And you can just look at people and go, we're eating something, you know. And so I'm walking around the supermarket, and I know this, you know. I know that the only food is on the edges. But I was really looking at everything going, this is not fucking food. People are filling up their baskets with food-like products and putting them in their bodies, and it's creating havoc for us. It's creating inflammation, and inflammation being the precursor to heart disease, strokes, cancer, nervous system diseases, Alzheimer's and diabetes, to name but a few, inflammation, which is actually the reason that I did the cleanse. Was, of course, weight loss might be a side product of it, and it was, but the reason I was doing it was to clear out my system. So think about, you give your house a spring clean, which is deeper than usual. Well, I do my intermittent fasting, and this was like, I needed to take control of my life again. Now, it's only temporary, of course, but I needed to have an intervention. Have you ever felt that? You know, I mean, last Monday, I was just like, oh, Sunday actually it was on Sunday, I was like, you are out of control. Like, you need to rein this in. And I had been saying that to myself for like 2 weeks. And that had already been out of control, right? For a while longer before that. And so I was just eating my stress. I was going back to that emotional eating pattern. And I'd carved out a few habits for myself. So if we went to Petaluma, that was Smart and Final. Smart and Final had the chocolate gummy bears. So, oh, we need something from Smart and Final. Well, while we're here, I have some chocolate gummy bears. Really bad. And then by the time I got home, I didn't have any left. And it wasn't any better. But I still couldn't stop the cycle, because this is it. This is the addictive cycle that we get into with our food. For some of us, for other people, like my mom or Samaj, can have one of something and put it away. But we don't all work like that. And all our bodies are different. So we're given all this different diet advice, and yet we don't know how we burn it. And the only way we can know is by self-experimentation. So that's what I do with myself, is this 5 days. I've done 3 days of water fasting before and 2 days of silence. So this upped both of them. It was 5 days of silence and 5 days of water fasting. Might as well just go for gold, right? Because I wanted to listen to that voice within. I didn't even read very much. I watched a couple of movies, because there were a couple of times where I was feeling a bit rough, I got to tell you. Actually, it was about 50 hours of feeling rough. I couldn't watch TV most of that time. Not TV, but Hulu on my computer, because we don't have a TV screen. But I didn't read, or I didn't even write in my journal. I wanted to be here. I just gave myself permission for 5 days to have a retreat at home. And whatever that meant, I was going to try and give it to my body. Last Monday I said, it doesn't seem a minute since last Monday. So if I do a 5-day cleanse, then by next Monday, I'm going to feel better. And sure enough, this Monday, I feel better, which is pretty golden, actually. I don't feel, I just feel better. Feel better about myself. And walking around the supermarket, I wasn't thinking. At Furcrest, they've got these dark chocolate covered marshmallow and walnuts, or Rocky Road or something, handmade locally, and you can just buy one. And I'll sneak one of those in. And in Safeway, I might have, if I was being good, I get some Lindt chocolate and make some chocolates at home. But you know what? Right now, I don't need it, and I want real food. So, yeah, if Richard Attenborough was going to study the human race, he'd go to Safeway or somewhere like that, because people are checked out and they're so stressed and they're just trying to grab, and this is what we've reduced ourselves to. And there's no judgment, because this is a society thing. 60% of the United States is obese or overweight. That is 2/3 of our population. 2-year-old babies. You're not going to get help necessarily from your doctors on this. We have to do it ourselves. That said, don't do anything to get your physician's advice.